Hey, how's it going? Fandom Empire Live, episode 104. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is going to be a fun one. Leave the lies aside. This was supposed to be a couple of pre-produced videos that life is just way too hectic to be able to properly edit them and sort them all out and get them out there, that we figured why not just do this as a live show and have some fun with it, because this is something that's been rumored in the fandom for a long time. And we're going to take a deep dive into what could have been the Helloween movies. Not one, but two Halloween / Hellraiser crossovers. We're going to take a deep dive into that tonight. We're also going to be looking at Fear Street, and we're going to talk a bit about box sets and what you get with them and how much they cost and if it's worth it anymore. But joining us tonight, he's back fresh from vacation. Hopefully he brought my jersey back in one piece. Although with the way they played last night, I'm not so sure. How's it going, Mike?
Doing good. A topic I do not want to discuss, but I will discuss vacation. Vacation was amazing. You guys, I know things have been tough for you personally, man, but everybody picked up their end. Everybody rocked it. I definitely tuned in as much as I could. It's good to be back, though. Good to be on the show, and we got a good one for everybody tonight, so I'm excited.
Also joining us tonight, host of the Rick and Morty fan show, and also a bit of a Hellraiser fan, I believe. He obviously likes Halloween. It's Kieran. How's it going, man?
Yeah. I was when you asked me if I was good for the show tonight, if I wanted to do it, I was like, the Hellraiser show? Yes, I do. I really do like Hellraiser quite a bit. I haven't seen all the films yet. Most of them are not on streaming platforms because it's another one of those franchises that's supposed to drop off quite a bit, but I haven't got there yet. But I do really enjoy the first three. The third one of which I watched today, and excited for the show. Great topic. I think it's going to be a fun show
for sure. So just to let everybody know what we're going to be doing in just a little bit, I promise it's not going to take us an hour to get there, is what we're going to be discussing from Hellraiser is from Taking Shape 2, written by the one and only pair of Dustin McNeil and Travis Mullins. We had Dustin on the
I think I'm gonna have to leave, honestly.
Oh, the worst part is this is a staff member doing this too.
Appreciate the love, Matt. Appreciate it.
We'll address Matt's question here in a few. But yeah, no, we're talking about stuff from Taking Shape 2, but we're not going to read everything to you because that wouldn't be appropriate to the authors. We picked out basically 10 or 12 pages of the concept of what the movies were going to be and why they didn't get made. But if you want more details in terms of like speaking with the directors and the producers, there's interviews like that in there. And they sit down, and the authors too, and they sit down with Dustin and Travis and sort of explain everything that happened behind the scenes. If you want to get that much of a deep dive in it, you're going to need to purchase the book. Otherwise, tune in and you'll get a little bit of a fix tonight. Matt Whitfield sends in a $5 super chat. Can we discuss the 76ers?
We cannot.
Yeah, Allen Iverson is one of the most entertaining players to ever play the game.
And unfortunately, he was there last night. And oh man, yeah, it was definitely a tough game to watch. I mean, when you go into the fourth quarter with a 22-point lead, you usually turn the game off. And I was thinking about it, but I didn't. I know I saw Kieran's comment. Embiid specifically. I mean, I thought Embiid played good. 39 points on a torn meniscus. I thought it's pretty solid. Ben Simmons needs to learn how to shoot the ball, but other than that, no excuses.
I love Embiid, actually. I think he's a great player.
Yeah. I don't know how much I could do on a torn meniscus. I'll say that. The two free throws.
He missed 2 free throws, so that's what that was about.
Don't
worry, I'm an Orlando fan, so missing free throws is the biggest history of the Orlando Magic. So
yeah, I get it, man. Yeah, it's tough. It was a tough night for sure.
You know, I've heard a lot of things that Ben Simmons doesn't like to put in the work off the court. I'm not saying I heard them personally. I'm saying that's literally was on the radio today while I was waiting for Fido to get their fucking shit together. But anyway, they were just ripping Simmons for not wanting to put in the work on developing a jump shot. And it's too bad because I always thought if he could develop, like he didn't have to be an above average shooter, but just be an average shooter.
Man, you want to talk about the talent. I mean, I'm talking about you're up there talking LeBron status there. I mean, you're talking about he's one of the best defenders in the league, and his passing ability is Magic Johnson like. So if he had a jump shot, but obviously that's a huge flaw in his game, especially his free throw shooting as well. So
you know what? It's probably a height thing. I mean, I'm sure it's a lot different shooting hoops at a park than in front of 20,000 people.
For sure.
But like, I know this isn't really good, but like, I can nail 7 out of 10 free throws every single time. I mean, I played basketball growing up. I played in elementary school and tried out for the high school teams at least. But like, free throws were never an issue for me. And yet, you see guys like Shaq, and I have to assume the taller that you are, the harder it is, just because of the arc.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's what it is. And you know, Embiid gets a lot of praise because he's like 7'1" or something like that, and he's like 88% from the free throw line. So I'm guessing I'm with you. The higher the taller you are, is more difficult for you to shoot the free throw. So
it's a decent 3-point shooter for a guy his height too.
Yeah, he is for sure. Thanks a lot, Matt. Thanks.
God, Matt, I've missed you so much, dude.
Jay messaged me about this today, actually. He wants the Halloween Returns script that was out there. It leaked a few years ago. They went with H18 instead of Halloween Returns. That is one of the movies they cover in this book, and I absolutely think we should take a deep dive into that another day where it can be like its own stream. But did either of you guys, I'm Kieran, assuming you're a no, but did you, Mike, ever get a chance to read anything on Halloween Returns?
No, other than just the basics of what they wanted to do and where they wanted to go. But as far as script wise or anything like that, I haven't dived too deep into that. and not diving too deep into these books, especially Taking Shape 2. But I'm not a huge reader, like I told you before. But it's, you know, when you sent me the pages or sent us the pages to prepare for the show, man, I couldn't get off of it. So I encourage any Halloween fan, whether you're a reader or not, to purchase this book. I'm purchasing my book as soon as I get off this live stream, because I can't tell you how hooked I was, and I'm not a reader. So
The way they write them too is like they have a, you know, I would consider this almost like a documentary style book, and the way they write it just is really nice. It's an easy read. You know, there are some, you know, autobiographies that, you know, I'll be sitting there reading and it's just like, this is painful. Why couldn't this be a movie? But I've never felt that about the way they write their books.
I think one of the best documentaries or horror documentaries on film that I've seen was, I want to say that it's called Never Sleep Again, the making of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise or movie. I thought that was one of the best ones that I've seen actually on film as far as documentary wise. But yeah, this book had me hooked, and I only read like 8 or 9 pages. So I can't imagine. I mean, that's a thick ass book right there. So I can't imagine what that book contains in its entirety.
It's incredible. I still haven't actually finished the book. Like the first book's long enough. I think it's 400 plus pages. This book is the size of a telephone book. You know, it's 600 pages. So it's a deep dive into a bunch of stuff. Anyways, we're going to jump into the Halloween Hellraiser crossovers in just a little bit. But first up, Mike, you wanted to preview Fear Street for us a little bit.
Yeah, I just I'm a big horror fan, and I know a lot of people on here are, so I thought it was good just to touch on this just a little bit. Not too much is out there on Fear Street. Basically, it's 3 different movies that are dropping on Netflix in July. They're releasing it in 3 parts. It's one full story. The first one is called Fear Street Part 1. It takes place in 1994. That drops July 2nd. Basically, a series of murders happens back in the day in this small town, and the people of the town want to figure out what happened. And you might know the story based on because they're based on the R.L. Stine books, the Fear Street franchise, R.L. Stine books. So you might already know kind of what happens. So this is really good. I thought, breaking it down in 3 different movies. They're full-length movies. Like I said, Part 1 drops July 2nd. Part 2 drops in 1978. Hell of a year, by the way. And
convenient.
Yeah, very. And Part 3 takes place, this is a little weird, 1666. I encourage everybody to go and watch the trailer on YouTube if you don't know much about it.
One of the movies is going to be all in 1666.
Yes.
Wow, that's cool. That's brave of them.
Very brave. And I'm really looking forward to it. I like the cast that they have in these films. I know one that sticks out to me is Maya Hawke, which is Ethan Hawke's daughter. But I think that they casted these movies very well. All 3 movies received a rated R rating. But I'm excited for it. If you've read the books, I've read a few of them. There's R.L. Stine wrote a lot. I think it's over 60. It's like 60 to 80 books, and it might be even more than that. He was at the time pumping out a book a month. So I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And I'm excited. I'm excited for this. Netflix, to be honest with you, whether it's what they create or what they put on their streaming service, is really not known for having good horror content. So I really hope this pans out. I'm excited for it. And the fact that all 3 movies received a rated R rating, for any true horror fan, that's pretty huge. So I'm excited for it. And I advise everybody to go watch the trailer. When I sent the trailer to you, I'm not sure if you had a chance to watch it or not.
I did. I don't know why I didn't pick up any. Was it just for the first movie? Because I didn't pick up any 1666 vibes in the trailer, which is why I was surprised.
I can't remember which one I sent you, but I know the very last trailer that released, it broke it down into the 3 different time frames. And for any Halloween fan out there, I actually obviously first heard about this through Netflix, but I also saw Christopher Nelson worked on this project, on these 3 projects as well. So any Halloween fan, that he's working on the 3 movies that are going on right now. And he talks highly of it as well. So I respect his opinion a lot. So I expect these 3 movies to be very well done and scary.
I mean, I don't know if either of you guys were Goosebumps guys back in the day, but like I wasn't into all the Goosebumps books, but I was into quite a few, and obviously them being, R.L. Stine. And I was as soon as I found out about Fear Street, which was a few weeks ago before life sort of got in the way, I was intrigued, and then I read an interview with Christopher Nelson talking about his role in it and doing obviously the VFX again. But like he spoke so highly of it. Like he's not going to be like, yeah, this is trash, you shouldn't see it. That's not how the industry works. But as someone who's talked to Christopher Nelson on a couple of occasions, he had nothing but really good things to say about it. So I'm looking forward to this. It's something to look forward to in the near future. How about you, Kieran? Were you ever a Goosebumps guy? Does any of this intrigue you?
I mean, I might check it out because you guys are pumping it out, but I'm not really I wasn't really big into Goosebumps. I always thought Are You Afraid of the Dark was a better show. I don't know. I guess it
reminds me of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like that show was eerie and whatever. And Goosebumps was kind of always predictable in like a Scooby-Doo type of way. But, well, except some of the endings were just really crazy and fucked up. But I don't know.
See, I've never read any of the Fear Street books, but basically what I've read online and watching the trailers, I want to say one of the movies takes place at a campsite. And it gives me Friday the 13th feels to it. So that really excites me a lot. So I can't wait, man. I'm really excited to check it out. Like I said,
who directed?
Not off the top of my head. I can definitely look that up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have that information off the top of my head.
Directed by Lee Janiak.
Never heard of them.
Me neither.
It's possible I've heard of some of the stuff they did, but
maybe
never heard of them.
Yeah, but I just wanted to share that because I know that's something that's coming to Netflix in the next few weeks. And if you're any horror fan like I am, Netflix doesn't really do too good with horror. And this is really one of the outside of suspense, actual horror that they're really diving into. So I'm excited to see how it goes and how it plays out for them. Did Sean get kicked out?
I am not sure.
Maybe he did. So, Kieran, have you even had a chance to watch the trailer at all?
No, I haven't seen it. I saw it in the notes and I was like, I don't even know about this. So I was busy watching Hellraiser 3.
Dude, so I've never seen any of the Hellraiser movies. If you had to, how many are there, by the way, if you know? Off the top of your head?
I want to say 11.
Okay. That's a lot.
It's somewhere between 9 and 11. There's a lot. The last movie that came out supposedly not the last one, but the one before that, I think, only came out because they realized they were going to lose the rights and they had to throw together a movie in less than a month. And apparently a couple of the later iterations also were suspected to have been scripts for something else where they were just like, let's just throw Pinhead in there and we'll make it into a Hellraiser movie. So that kind of tells you where the series goes. However, the first 3 movies are awesome. So yep. I haven't, that's where I am so far on my watch through of all things horror. So, I'm only there for Hellraiser. I still have a bunch of things to watch. I still have to watch Candyman. I really want to watch that. Still haven't watched it. Yeah. Still want to watch Pumpkinhead. I haven't watched that yet. I DVR'd that a while ago, but I just have so much horror stuff to watch because I've only been a horror fan for like a year and a half, 2 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Sean. Welcome back.
I'm back. I had to grab something for our next discussion. So.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
I forgot I didn't grab it. So.
But overall, I mean, what did you think of the trailer based on just off what you saw? Does it intrigue you at all? I know it has to do a lot with teenagers, based around teenagers.
So here's my thing. I think that the trailers can be very misleading. I think bad trailers can have great movies and great trailers can have terrible movies. And I think this trailer fell somewhere in the middle. I'll be honest, you describing the movie or movies did more for me than the trailer did. And I definitely trust your word and know your experience. And And so I think you did a better sales pitch than the trailer, but I didn't think the trailer was terrible. I also just didn't think it was really good either.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and a lot of my take is really trusting Christopher Nelson. I mean, and you touched on it too. I mean, he's not going to say these movies are trash, but he's not going to. I mean, he's really hyping up these movies. I know he has his own podcast or YouTube channel that he does with Sean Clark, and they talked about it a lot, and I trust their opinions on their own time. So, like I said, I'm really leaning on Christopher Nelson on this one, and I think it's gonna be good for Netflix and everybody involved, especially us horror fans. I mean, we've got A Quiet Place, we've got the new Conjuring. Keep them coming. That's what we need.
Absolutely. Let's shift gears here a little bit. So I know Mike wants to bring everybody up to date on some new I don't know if they're steel cases, but there are new 4K and Blu-ray movies coming out. And in general, I wanted to take a second to talk about, TV series and movie series box sets and if the cost of them is worth it anymore and what you're getting and etc. But before we do that, there is actually, if you guys seen the Fandom Empire Den today, you've seen we posted it. There's a bit of an update in the Friday the 13th court case, first one in a long time. And for those that don't like Sean Cunningham, they're probably not going to like the fact that this update sides more with him than Victor. And basically, they're saying that there's precedence to have the case dismissed based on a previous case, and they have submitted that evidence from that previous case. And so I guess Cunningham and company are looking to run with it here, which, in my opinion, would probably be the worst move for the franchise. I think Victor Miller is probably the better creative outlet at this point. I think they're both selfish to an extent. And I think the best thing that could happen is a third party come in and buy them both out. But either way, there's some movement. That doesn't mean there's a resolution imminent, but yay, I guess. Mike, why don't you tell us about some of I think there was two of them that you mentioned to me earlier, new releases coming out.
So I haven't looked at the chat, so I don't know if Frank Recker's in here or not. I know he's going to be super hyped up. Tonight. Sorry, Frank. We got to send it to him because I know he wants to pre-order it. It's the Scream 4K 25th anniversary release. It's just rumored right now. I think I saw that on Bloody Disgusting, which I trust their sources a lot. I think Paramount or somebody's running that release. So that's going to be coming for the 25th anniversary later this year. I know that was one of them. And the second one was Friday the 13th. Actually, had planned on doing a remake as well of the first one. I'm not a big Friday the 13th fan as far as the first film, but I think getting those two films is going to be nice. I know, Sean, you said that you didn't really like Scream much, the first one. I know you said you enjoyed the second one a lot more. I liked the first one and the second one. I did not enjoy the last two installments of the franchise. Kind of worried about the new one that's coming out. But I really like the cast that they have in this new one. So that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, those are two ones that I would look forward to if you're looking for any new movies to get come towards the end of the year. Frank, what's up, dude? There you are, man. As soon as I get the link, I'm gonna send it to you directly so you can have it. Appreciate you, Frank. And I'll buy it for you if you want it, honestly.
Man, that would be fun. That'd be a fun little video to do. Speaking of which, I did not get that Spin a Rudy video done yet, but it is going to get done.
I forgot about that. I forgot all about that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Paige was watching Booker T do some Spin a Roonies today and basically looked at me and was like, so where do you want to have your funeral? I mean, they weren't the exact words, but I mean, that was what was hinted.
It's a tough move if you can pull it off. I
can definitely do the scissors kick portion at the beginning, but trying to flip myself over the other way, that's probably 80 pounds ago, Sean. So not so sure it's going to turn out well, but it'll be fun. Frank will get it, by the way. We never said anything about everybody getting it. We'll give it to Frank and the staff, and then what the staff does with it, I can blame them.
I was going to say, do you really trust Frank with the video?
Oh, God, no. It'll probably be on the next episode.
It'll probably, Slaughtered Lamb.
It would be. It would be.
But a deal's a deal, and I'm a man of my word. So it would be interesting, though, to see Frank receive that video from you just to see what he does with it. I could see him like just going in this random friggin' skyscraper building and just friggin' chucking it off the edge and recording it. Obviously, you'd want to make sure that nobody gets hurt, so maybe he couldn't do that. But it'd be cool to see what Frank does with it, and then Mike's response to it. So,
absolutely. But yeah, as far as those two movies, I know they're both 4K releases. As far as Scream, the original, obviously the first Scream installment, and the original Friday the 13th movie, no release dates. But you can expect those to come out here pretty soon because at least Bloody Disgusting said that they will be coming out this year. So we should be hearing something pretty soon on it for all you Scream and Friday the 13th fans. I don't know if that's a good segue, Sean, if you want to jump into this to the box sets. I know you just received your discounted $99 Friday the 13th box set that they just released. So what's up, man? How did you feel about it?
well, I'm going to bring it on screen in a second. But before I do, I just want to ask you guys, what is the last DVD? And I mean, a box set to me is, I mean, I guess you could count a trilogy, but it's really more than a trilogy. You know, you're buying a trilogy at that point. Box set's usually more than a trilogy. So it could be a TV series box set. It could be a movie box set. What's the last one that you guys purchased? How much did you pay for it that you can remember? And are you satisfied with the purchase?
Kieran, I'll let you go first.
Well, before like just a trilogy is pretty much all I don't think I've ever purchased anything that's more than 3 or 4 movies.
So you're not going to pay $200 for the Leprechaun box set?
No, I wouldn't pay. I wouldn't pay that much money for the anything box set. I did come close to. So like a new Rick and Morty box set came out. I already have all 4 seasons that are out. But a new one came out and it's about $60, I think. And the only thing that's different is it comes with a poster. And I considered buying it because I feel like it's a thing that I should have, but then I didn't buy it because I'm pretty cheap. Like I'm honestly, I'm a fairly cheap person. If I could pick between the box set that's nice and has like a comic book and this and that, or one of the like compilation type movies you'll find at Walmart that will just have, you know, like 6 out of the 8 movies for cheap, I'll probably buy the cheap one because that's just kind of how I am. Pretty cheap. I'm a cheap person.
Apparently you have a Canadian accent, Kieran.
Do I?
I guess.
I guess I do there, eh? I do notice it when I go to the States quite often. Well, before all
Where do
this
you go?
shit I did. I go to Ohio quite often because I have friends there. We do like competitive laser tag, if you can believe that or not. I've been to Vegas. I've been to where else did I go recently? Chicago. I went to Richmond, Virginia.
What? When?
That was, I know Matt Whitfield said the same thing. He's like, you didn't fucking come here.
Like who picks to go to Richmond? No offense. I mean, I live here and I'm like, who the fuck wants to come here?
You have a place there called Laser Quest.
Oh, we do. We do.
It's not open anymore, I don't think though. I think all of the Laser Quests closed.
I think you're right because I remember going there a while back and I haven't heard anybody else bring it up. If I want to go play laser tag, we have this place called Swaders.
Yeah,
that's the closest thing that we can get to, you know, laser tag around here that I know of.
Yeah, I know. That's what he said. He said you haven't fucking been here, and I was like, I can tell you exactly what the airlock looks like, and it was just like. But yeah, no, that would have been 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
Wow. Jason says you look like Mick Foley.
I've made that connection myself before, but most people write that off as me being self-deprecating. But
have a nice day.
I love Mick Foley, but Kieran is in 100 times better shape than Mick Foley. I'm in Mick Foley shape. Kieran could run circles around Mick Foley, but Mick Foley is great. I love Mick Foley. He had all those bios that have come out recently. There's one about him, and it was awesome. I'm trying to keep up with the comment section, guys, as best as I can. I just want to reiterate, and I know Valerie sent in a couple of intriguing ones I want to get to. if you want to be guaranteed to get your comment read on air, send in a super chat. It helps keep the channel running. We appreciate the support, and it guarantees your comment will get read. Just the chat's really starting to pick up here, and we have a lot more to get to. So, Mike, what was yours? Hang on, sorry. By the way, your wife says that you guys bought the Sabrina the Teenage Witch box set for your daughter, which is cool.
See, I will buy shit for my kids. I buy all sorts of like endless amounts of shit for my kids. But then when it comes to me, I'm always like, do I need a new pair of socks? Like, they're only small holes. Like,
I have holy socks too. I get it. Jonathan also says, I think we talked about this the other day, that the box set's advertised right now is $119 on Amazon.com. I know Amazon's Canadian? Prices sort of go, well, it should be about $119 Canadian.
Okay.
But for Americans, it's $99.
Yes.
And if it's not listed as that, wait a few hours and it'll probably go back to that. Amazon likes to fuck around with their shit a lot. Mm-hmm. So they try to catch people in the moment and make a few extra bucks. All right, Mike, what was the last one that you bought? By the way, the chat too. I want everybody in the chat. Let's get you guys involved in this. What is the last either movie series or TV series box set that you guys bought, and how much did you pay for it if you're willing to divulge that information? Go ahead, Mike.
So it was a big one for me, actually. My favorite movie of all time is this one right here, Back to the Future. And they just released this box set. It was the 35th anniversary limited edition 4K box set. It kind of comes in the sleeve. And what I love about it, two things. I'm a big steelbook guy. So I'm going to go through each one real quick, just show you. This is the first one. The back, it's a matte finish, super clean. This is the second one. And as you can see on the front cover, they all connect. If you put them up together, it shows the DeLorean in front of the clock tower. And the last and final one is the third one, obviously. Clint Eastwood, Back in Time. So that was a big one for me. I think it was around $80. But the big sell for me, outside of it being my favorite movie and the Steelbooks 35th edition and 4K, it's a lot in one, is if you can see all of this loaded bonus features. That is what I look for in box sets. An hour of all new bonuses, over an hour of all new bonuses, because I had the last box set. They weren't still books that released. So it's a lot that you can do. It's digital, musical behind the scenes, a whole bunch of interviews. So that's what I look for in a box set as well. Obviously, what the box set looks like. I already mentioned I'm a big steelbook guy, and the fact that it being my favorite movie. I mean, this is one of the biggest steelbooks, or one of the biggest purchases for me, and my favorite that I've recently gotten. So, yeah, that was my last one, man.
So Jade just got me this for Father's Day. Jade and the kitties, and as I almost drop it all, since it's not held in there very good. It's the Friday the 13th box set. Which I gotta be honest, when you look at images of it, it looks a lot bigger than it actually is. The artwork is really nice. I dig the artwork on it. I still have there's the list of like all your special features and whatnot. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice looking box set. But for the people that are paying, $200+ Canadian for this at regular price right now, I can't imagine paying that amount of money.
I'm kind of upset that you didn't pause so that I could say that's what she said.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, I want to make
keep an eye on that next time.
Yeah, what's up, Mike?
Jade, she said that looking at her comments, that she said we got Harry Potter and One Tree Hill at the same time. Are those box sets that you got?
Yes.
Because I'm a big One Tree Hill guy, actually.
Yeah, we like One Tree Hill a lot. She has the whole set. So,
is she big fan? Y'all big fans? Because I have obviously a friend, and this kind of coincides with Halloween Kills as well, and the new Scream. I visit Wilmington a lot, and that's where all that was filmed. So, and all that is, especially the One Tree Hill, like when you go and you look at like historic sites, it was such a big show, especially for down there, that kind of kicked everything off. That in Dawson's Creek, it's actually landmarks down there, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. I dig that. Yeah, no, I like One Tree Hill. I think it goes south a little bit once they lose some of the cast, but
For sure. Yeah.
they still do a pretty good, job of continuing
Mhm.
after losing 2 of your main cast members. So,
I don't give a damn, Matt. I don't give a damn. Okay. He said One Tree Hill equals man card revoked, and I don't give a damn.
Oh, no.
I don't give a damn.
Packers fan equals man card revoked.
I just I just literally did the same thing for Sean knows Chan. Chan said that he likes the show This Is Us, and I made fun of him, and everybody in my whole chat jumped on me and they're like, "That's a great show." I'm like, "Fine, I'm just an asshole."
I've never watched it, but I've heard it's good, but gets kind of repetitive.
Well, I mean, it gets repetitive.
It's just I don't like how it seems. I've seen a few episodes. I feel like it's just kind of manufactured to make you cry.
Oh yeah,
like,
and
it's like, hey, why don't we do an episode where the guys, someone this happens and whatever, and it's just like it's always like something that's reiterated that someone else did, like a classic story, and they're like, oh, if the dog dies, everyone will cry, so we'll make that happen. And you're like,
that's kind of why I stopped watching This Is Us, because it was that. Not saying it wasn't a good show, because it was, but it did get repetitive. But like when I started watching One Tree Hill, I didn't go into it thinking like, man, I'm gonna absolutely love this show. It's just happened to be on. I checked it out, and I really liked it. Same with Dawson's Creek. I mean, that popped up on Netflix, and I was like, I'm gonna go to bed to just throw on a show to go to bed to. And next thing I know, it's 3 a.m. and I'm hooked to a show. So that's usually how I'll end up watching all my shows. Is the
cast is really good in One Tree Hill. It really, really brings you in. Whitey is just fucking great. Anyways, backtracking to the Friday the 13th box sets. I'm not nagging on anybody who's paid full price for this, because if you love Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th isn't Halloween to me, but this is a really nice box set. I think it could have been bigger. Here's my problem. Like, Mike just showed us those beautiful steel cases of Back to the Future. And this stuff here, they're Blu-rays, by the way. No Blu-ray case. And they're just like, I'm going to pull one out. Mike pulled one out. I'm going to pull one out. Pull out the OG. And if you're satisfied with that, it looks blue because of my lighting in here, but it's not. If you're satisfied with that, then great. But like, to me,
that's just clear, right? A clear case?
Clear, just clear. Like, to me, this is so cheaply made for the money that you're paying for it. I appreciate the gift. I am thankful for it. I just think when movie companies, even like my favorite show, Supernatural, just released their complete series box set. If you want it in Canada, it's $400 fucking dollars. $400. You know what you get? A book the size of this one, and 1 extra hour of extra features, and a cheaply made box. $400. And for me, I've just begun to lose interest in wanting box sets. Like, I don't know if either of you guys were Sons of Anarchy guys, but they had a nice box. You got like the table with it.
I missed out on that, unfortunately, but I'm a big Sons of Anarchy fan. But I'm kind of strict when it comes to my box sets. Like, I really wanted to get that Friday the 13th one, but I'm kind of like you, on the same boat as you. There was nothing. It just didn't wow me. Like I said before when I was explaining, I just love steel books. I love the way they feel, the matte finish. I got a steel book of Halloween 2 down there. There was FYE exclusive with Michael. I don't know if you've seen it, lit on fire. So I mean, it's just I'm a big steelbook guy. So
yeah, I love Sons of Anarchy.
And then of course, like I said, I look to see what kind of bonus features I get as well with that said box set.
For sure. We have a super chat that came in here. I'm trying to get to it. There we go. $10 super chat in from Matt Whitfield. What about a Leprechaun box set? Oh damn, that don't exist.
One of those dealies like you have for Friday the 13th in a small case does. Not a big box set, I don't think exists, but you can get not all of them. I think you can get 6 or 7 of them in one. So all the good ones, because 1, 2, and 3 are good, and the rest I have yet to see a good one. I do need to watch the remake one though, because some people say that that's all right.
So Valerie says, any news on the new Scream? The last that we heard on this channel was that they are going to do something very different that they haven't done before, that it would be a little less tongue-in-cheek, and that while the main actors are back, actors and actresses, don't jump to conclusions, basically. And I sort of got the feeling, oh, well, maybe they're playing themselves, and the new Scream movie's actually like Stab. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I like the first two installments to the franchise. I'm not too big on the last two. I appreciate a little bit what they did with the last one. It was different. It was trying to fit in its time. It just didn't sit well with me. So, and if I hope they're right with this. I hope the comments that Sean just read, that they're being honest with it, because this is a franchise, in my opinion, that has kind of died out. So they had to do something different. So I hope it is different. I hope a main cast member is killed. But either way, they have to do something that, and I think Sean has mentioned this in a previous video, even before I got here, they're going to have to do something to really wow me, to wow the fans. So.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. Sorry, I'm just reading a message here, guys. Yeah, I noticed it too. Anyways, I suppose it's time for the main event. So we haven't, I won't lie, we haven't had much chance to talk today, the three of us. I think the best thing to do is to maybe, you guys have it handy on you or no? Like, can you pull it up on your phone?
Yeah, I can pull it up on my phone.
I could.
Okay, so why don't we take some turns with this, give each other some breaks, because I will run out of breath in a hurry here. Should we do a couple of pages and then stop, or do the whole thing?
I would say that we should read like the under the bold line and then discuss it after that before we get to the next point.
Yeah, so the first cutoff would be Hellraiser, Helloween 1998.
Yeah.
And then the second one would be Halloween in Hell. Okay, yeah, all right. Let's do that. Mike, I think you got a great voice. If you think you can read on air, why don't you take the first one here, man, on pages 1 and 2, which are actually listed as 239 and 240. This, again, is the Hellraiser Halloween crossover.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and read through this as best as I can. Frankenstein and the Wolfman, Godzilla and King Kong, Alien and Predator. In the annals of legendary horror matchups, these are the most touted showdowns. But Michael Myers and Pinhead, well, not usually among the first names mentioned. These two icons have also been tossed around for decades as a possible pairing, and not just on fan forums, but why? Halloween and Hellraiser are starkly different franchises. The two different virtually nothing cross paths. Most obviously lies in the fact that for around 20 years, both franchises were controlled by Dimension Films. This made a potential hybrid sequel that much more of an actual possibility. And I've
totally lost my spot down here because of how dark it is.
Oh, you're good. I'm trying to keep up too because
I know you're reading a tiny print off a cell phone.
You're good.
Hey, if I can find my spot, I can take over from you. The second paragraph?
Almost. And for the briefest moment in time, it was a very real possibility.
All right. Here, I'll go from here. I got bigger print in my face. So, for the uninitiated, the general premise of the Hellraiser series is roughly this. There is a black and gold puzzle box known as the laminate configuration, often kept by a homeless-looking transient known as the Puzzle Guardian, who gives it to unsuspecting victims. When opened, the puzzle box summons an extra-dimensional beings known as Cenobites, who self-describe as explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others. Demons would seem the most appropriate. No, I had no idea how the hell to say that. These denizens.
Yep.
I have no idea. Yeah, is that right? See, I've only seen one Hellraiser film, so
I think it's denizens.
These denizens of the underworld are led by the nefarious Pinhead, which is the guy you see to the bottom right of your screen if you haven't seen Hellraiser, who functions as the high priest of hell, as Kieran mentioned earlier. The Cenobites can only reach Earth when summoned by a box and prefer to take with them fresh souls for the return trip home. Pinhead and the Cenobites have a reoccurring nemesis in a final girl, Christy Cotton. Am I saying that right? Christy Cotton? Where's Frank Riker? He's probably seen all these. Who's tricked them into sparing her life more than once. Kieran, you want to take this next one? Can you read that from there? I know it's really small for you guys on your phone.
Oh, are you still on the first page?
Yeah, first page, paragraph 3.
Okay. You're right, it is annoying. Before discussing the ill-fated Halloween Hellraiser crossover, one must first acknowledge the influence, what is undeniably the biggest monster match of all time, Freddy vs. Jason. The 2003 horror showdown debuted atop the domestic box office and remained there for 2 consecutive weeks before ultimately grossing $82 million. New Line's success with the project led to many of its rivals to develop their own potential crossovers. Though few of these projects were ever greenlit, the following year did see 20th Century Fox finally crank out long-awaited Alien vs. Predator to mixed results. Elsewhere on the small screen, the Sci-Fi Channel premiered Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toy and Boa vs. Python. This was also the year Dimension had planned to release their own crossover between Halloween and Hellraiser. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, though Michael versus Pinhead only became a strong possibility after Freddy vs. Jason murdered its box office competition. Its earliest rumblings, such as a product that predated the New Line film by several years. And do you want me to read the part that starts with the Hellraiser Halloween 1998?
Yeah, sorry, I just had to take care of something that we both predicted. So, yeah. So, anyway,
yeah. Oh, do you want me to read it, or you want to read it?
Oh, I don't know who's going to read it. We rock paper scissors this. We're understanding this part anyways. Here, I'll take over. It's unclear to what degree Dimension execs seriously considered pairing the franchises, but it was an idea tossed around as far back as the mid 1990s. So what we're getting at here is a lot of people think Freddy versus Jason was the first, really explored. And the truth is it wasn't. It wasn't by a long shot. This was explored far earlier than Freddy versus Jason, and it didn't come to be. And let's find out why that is. Halloween and Hellraiser were already connected in a roundabout way through their shared studio parent. Not long after helming Halloween 6, director Joe Chappelle was brought on board Hellraiser's troubled 4th installment as a replacement director in post-production. Now let's go over that again. A replacement director in post-production. Clearly, they brought him in because of everything that happened on Halloween 6 and how disastrous that production was. Hellraiser Bloodline's original director would refuse to return to the studio. Would refuse to return for studio-mandated reshoots and ultimately remove his name from the project altogether. Bizarrely, clips from Hellraiser Bloodline would feature in various TV spots as promoting Halloween 6 September 1995 release. You want this one, Kieran?
It's backwards for me, or else I will jump in.
Yeah, we can't read that whole page because the whole page you said.
Oh, all right, I got it. That's the one that went back. That's weird. I don't know why it did that, but the rest were normal. The crossover idea must have been percolating in the minds of those at the far ends of the company, as the creators behind Hellraiser seemed aware of such a mashup might happen. 2 of its most notable alumni would even mention the possibility to press. Not always favorably, mind you. Screenwriter Peter Atkins, who had penned the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Pinhead ventures, confessed to the magazine Lost Souls. Frighteningly, Dimension does own Michael Myers, so Pinhead versus Michael Myers might become a distinct possibility somewhere down the road, but all have nothing to do with it, calling the idea creatively bankrupt. The writer would, however, express that he was tickled by the idea of his Pope of Hell could join the ranks of those featured in the Universal crossovers. It kind of amuses me that, hey, maybe our monster will get to be a part of this big monster mash, tag teams from hell. Even more damning, his statement was the one by, good God, it's hard to see in the fucking dark. Even more damning than his statement was the one by Pinhead actor Doug Bradley. During publicity for Bloodline, he remarked to Fangoria, with New Line producing this Freddy versus Jason crossover, my biggest fear is that since Dimension has bought both rights to Halloween and Hellraiser films, some bright spark is going to come up with Pinhead versus Michael Myers. His instincts weren't wrong. In anticipation of Freddy versus Jason reaching the screen, a crossover between the two baddies had already gained momentum outside of the company. Many who grew up with the characters, which brings us to the first crossover attempt, Hellraiser versus Halloween. Hellraiser Helloween 1998. So I'm guessing it was going to be just called Hellraiser Helloween. Mike, do you got this next one? One of you guys?
Yes, sir. The first known attempt to cross over Halloween with Hellraiser was the genre film and filmmaker Dave Parker in the late 90s. The man of many hats, Parker is variously a writer, director, editor, actor, and producer. Most notably, he's the writer/director of such films as The Dead Hate, The Living, The Hills Run Red, and The Tales of Halloween. He's also one of the three credited screenwriters of, y'all help me out, Yui Bowles 2003. Is that Yui Bowles?
I have no idea that name.
We're gonna go Yui Balls.
It's UWE. So
yeah. 2003 film House of the Dead. Though he takes that film's critical reception in stride. Oddly enough, Michael and Pinhead were not the first horror icons he had tried to bring together. Parker had previously pitched Freddy vs. Jason to Sean Cunningham's Crystal Lake Entertainment in 1995 without success.
Anticipating that the in-development Freddy vs. Jason would trigger a wave of horror crossovers, Parker considered other characters he could square off against one another. That's when he realized the rights to both Halloween and Hellraiser were held by the same company, Dimension Films. This detail was important as Halloween and Hellraiser crossover wouldn't require messy licensing deals with other studios. Parker not only wrote a treatment for his story, he also created a trailer as a visual aid using clips from existing films. The project's working title was Hellraiser Helloween, or simply Helloween. Kieran?
I was a big fan of Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, House of Frankenstein, and other monster rallies, Parker told Fangoria in 2003. I was like, oh my God, Freddy vs. Jason would be such a fun and geeky sort of way, or fun in a geeky sort of way. Then I started thinking about what other ones you could do. And obviously Dimension had both Pinhead and Michael Myers. So I started thinking about how it might work and came up with a take that wasn't 100% true to both mythologies, but there was something there that definitely worked.
Parker's Halloween immediately veers into sacred territory with the new spin on the Shapes origin, a risky move by any measure. The story takes us back to the fateful night in October 1963, just moments before young Michael murders his older sister. While trick-or-treating, the boy comes across the street, the shady-looking puzzle guardian. Instead of candy, the vagrant hands Michael the infamous puzzle box. On the walk home, he unwillingly opens it. This would ordinarily summon Pinhead and Cenobites, but not this time. Instead, a demonic entity named Sam Hain, aka the Lord of the Dead, which we've seen in the first film and the second film, obviously, escapes hell through the box and possesses young Michael, transforming him into the shape as we know him. Michael / Sam Hain then returns home to kill Judith per the original Halloween's opening scene, and the rest is history.
So let's just start there.
I think that's corny as shit.
Let's start there. Okay. Apologies, guys. We weren't sure how we were going to do this, and I got tied up this afternoon. So, like, we're reading this on a whim here, and these guys are reading it off of, I'm guessing, phones smaller than this, too, more than likely.
Yeah.
So, and they both had backwards pages, too. So, we're working here on a whim. Let's start there, though. That seems like a really good place to start. First of all, most of the Halloween franchise is pretty grounded. You know, there's some out there stuff, but for the most part, it's grounded. Hellraiser is anything but grounded. So the idea of taking the two villains, it's already a stretch to begin with. I think the idea of Sam Hain taking over Michael Myers is as corny as it fucking gets. And yet at the same time, in order for it to work for this movie,
Yeah.
I feel like it makes sense. Where do you guys fall on this?
I mean, and like I said to begin with, it sounds super corny because for me, obviously we go back and forth between movies is Michael human? Is he supernatural? Like, what is he? Like, what are we getting out of this Michael? But we never go into huge supernatural as where this is taking it. You know, supernatural things is where this is taking it, but that's where it has to be because that's what Hellraiser is. So as corny as it sounds, I just know that that's you can only come up with so many different storylines for this to work. And as corny as it sounds, it has to make sense, and it does in a way. It's just I don't like it because for me, what strikes fear for me personally for Michael is the fact that he's just a normal guy to me. Obviously, he has fucking problems, but he's just a normal guy that has just hell in his eyes, that has deep dark eyes. So for me, I don't like it. It just doesn't make sense. It makes me just go back and think, as corny as it is, why push it? Like, why? Maybe Hellraiser's not the guy Michael should face off against. And to be honest with you, that's just kind of how I feel about the entire situation. I don't think Pinhead is the right guy for Michael to face off against. But until reading this taking shape, I had heard of this. I just didn't know, and we're going to get into it, how many times that this was pitched between these two. So that's how I feel about really everything, but this in particular. I just think that's a weird way, but like you said, Sean, it kind of has to be that way.
Kieran,
yeah.
What did you think about that proposed intro concept?
It's pretty much like you guys said. There's not a lot of ways that this could work because of the relationship that Pinhead and Michael Myers would have. Because if it's regular human Michael Myers, who is just a really tactful, sneaky killer who, maybe is able to survive a little bit more than a regular human. Like, definitely he's some sort of fucking superhuman. But even as grounded as he gets, Pinhead would just show up and steal his skin. Like, he would have to be some sort, he would have to be the more supernatural, type of Michael to get in any sort of fight with Pinhead. The matchup also doesn't work very well because Pinhead talks to other people. I mean, he talks to his he convinces people to do things in the movies quite often. Like, he usually has to convince someone to do something with the puzzle box, or he's not at full power. He needs to convince someone to come close enough for him to kill them, and then get up to a higher power level. And he wouldn't be able to talk to Michael, so I don't think the back and forth makes a lot of sense. But for this particular script concept, I think that's the type of thing they would have to do to make this movie. So I can see how Freddy was able to bounce off of Jason without Jason having to talk. They did that in a clever way, but I don't think it would work the same between these two guys. And it is what it is.
and harping on that because they brought it up, the whole Freddy versus Jason thing. I'm not a big fan of the movie as well. And I'm not the biggest fan of how they made it work, but what other ways could they have made it work? I don't know what your guys' opinions on it is. I know I've heard Sean say that he's not a big fan of the movie, and like I said, I'm not either. But as far as storyline and how to get them to cross each other's path, I'm not sure what other ways they could have done it to make sense.
I loved the way they did that. I think
that's what I'm saying.
I
I just don't know what other way they could have went. You know what I mean? I didn't like the movie. I didn't like the actors. A lot of TV actors, it just didn't fit. But as far as how to make them cross, it was really the only way that I could think that they could do it.
Yeah, no, the concept of the movie Freddy versus Jason, I thought was fine, if not actually pretty good. But yeah, having that rip off Jay and Silent Bob Jay guy, crossover with the needles in his hands like Wolverine claws, and like some of that stuff really took it out of the movie. But the stuff where they actually fought was pretty good, and they fought a bunch of times in the movie. It takes a lot of that. I really enjoyed the what's the one? I don't know the actor's name at all, but the one guy that got stuck in jail and then had that thing burnt into the back of his back. I thought that he did a really good job, and he was scared, like when he was like pretending to not have to go to sleep, and I thought that was really good. We are talking about a completely different movie than what we're supposed to, so I won't go more into it. But I thought that they did that in a good way, and there's not a good way they could do it between these two guys.
Well, Freddy
I can see.
Well, like it's known, Freddy versus Jason had been in the talks for a while, and obviously, the more we read into this, it obviously gets made, and obviously is really the first one of its kind as far as the slashers going against each other, and we're going to read more into it, like I said. But as far as I just didn't like the overall film. But as far as how you make two of these iconic slashers cross each other, whether it's Michael or Pinhead or Jason versus Freddy, I think as far as the Jason versus Freddy front, it really went one of the only one of the minimum ways that it could. So that's how I feel about that movie.
Let's finish up this one right here. We won't read all the pages we have. We're just going over the concept. So Parker's story then jumps ahead to present day, where we find several characters breaking into the old Myers house. This crew of trespassers consists of new and returning characters from both franchises, including Kirsty Cotton. They're on a mission to find something, though we're not sure what. Ooh, a MacGuffin. Break through a wall in the pardon me. That makes no sense, but that's exactly what it says. Breaking through a wall in Michael's room, they stumble upon the puzzle box. Naturally, someone accidentally opens it, because why not? Which calls out to Sam Hain, aka the Shape, who returns home. This also summons Pinhead and the Cenobites to the Myers house, who immediately recognize the Shape as the escaped demon. A knockdown, drag-out fight ensues, with trespassers caught in the middle. The action eventually spills out of the Myers house and down into the bowels of hell for the final act. So that's your movie. That's your 1998 Helloween. I gotta be honest. Thank fuck this movie didn't get made. Holy crap. I know at one point in time, everybody wanted, this horror movie character against that horror movie character. But my God, you already had one franchise go straight to home video, aka Hellraiser. You would have sent both franchises straight to home video at that point.
I 100% agree. I mean, and I don't want to jump ahead, but Sean, I kind of want to get you and Kieran's opinion. I mean, do you think that Pinhead is the right person to go up against Michael if you want to create a movie? I mean, I just want to get your guys' opinion, because for me, I'm gonna say no. The easiest one for me would be Jason.
I've heard that said so many times, and it seems to make sense. But the fact that neither of them talk, I think, would make that movie. They would have to have so many outside characters to fill in dialogue, and then people would be pissed that there's so many outside characters taking up this. I don't think that this is a good matchup. I already said that. I do think that Freddy versus Pinhead would be a fantastic matchup because they both have similar
That's a
limits
good one.
to their powers.
That's a good one.
As much as the Hellraiser movies are not, their stories are not the greatest. The actors, both respective actors, are fantastic. Hellraiser delivers a lot of really great lines. There's not a lot. He's not on the first two movies. Pinhead is not quite in them. In fact, in the first movie, Pinhead is not even credited as Pinhead. He's credited as the lead Cenobite. So they didn't really have a name for the character. But they have similar abilities, and I think if they cross, they would have really good, memorable back and forths, if you would. I think that would be the best out of any matchup I can think of, to be honest.
That's a good one.
Except a Leprechaun.
All right. Leprechaun versus who? Charles Lee Ray.
Frank Riker says he thinks it'd be Leatherface versus Michael. I like that one a lot.
That is good.
You'd have to find a story for them to like cross over. Maybe
Does he ever talk?
No, he makes
really,
noises.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, that's something else. Anyway.
Oh man.
If we could just compile I'm going to go back to every episode and compile all the times that you mention something from your OnlyFans account and just make a big video, big compilation of everything Sean said about his OnlyFans account.
Man, do you know what would have been great there is Tommy B's fake Batman voice. That was hilarious.
That was bad.
Matt Whitfield sends in a super chat. Well, truth be told, Frank and I have a Zoom meeting live from his hot tub with Jason Blum to pitch Critters versus Leprechaun next week. Oh wow. Ugh, I'm getting itchy already for all the wrong reasons. All right, so let's get to the hang on. Are we all in agreement that movie should not have been made?
Agree.
Freddy versus Jason?
The Halloween movie that it's right that
that movie that we just
I'm not a fan of Freddy versus Jason. I'd rather watch Freddy versus Jason 1,000 times before I'd watch this one.
I wish it existed.
No,
I don't think it would be that great. But I wish it would. I don't think it would be great. I think it would be one of those movies you watch because it's just kind of, I don't know, it's bad, but it's good bad. You know what I mean? Good bad. I think it would be that. So
I'm gonna try to tackle this one in all one read here. It's 4 paragraphs. So the next one, this was the second one that almost came to be, was titled Halloween in Hell, Michael versus Pinhead, and you would have gotten this movie instead of Halloween Resurrection. So you can decide shortly which one you would have rather. Halloween Resurrection.
That's a low bar.
Very low bar. All right. Halloween in Hell opens outside Chicago with a support group for horror film survivors. Most notably in attendance are Kirsty Cotton and Jamie Lloyd. But other attendees include characters from films such as Critters, The Prophecy, Kieran, wait for this one, Leprechaun, and Phantasm. Jamie explains the thorn curse to her peers and shares how it's been a terrible hardship for her. I can't date. I can't hold down a job. With everyone getting massacred, I have to keep a blood supply in the hospital for the next attack. He just keeps coming. She also mentions that it's been 7 months since the Shape last tried to kill her. So wait, the Shape tried to kill her when it wasn't Halloween? Or maybe it's 7 months after
7
Halloween.
years. It says 7 years, doesn't it?
I think it's 7 months. I just lost my spot now. Bloody hell.
I read this earlier. I thought it was 7 years.
7 months. 7 months since the Shape last tried to kill her, which tries again as the meeting ends. So So Michael is hunting Jamie when it's not Halloween. I mean, I know he's at times just supposed to be a dude, but if we're taking Michael from the Thorn timeline, So like I don't know if just Halloween 4 counts. I would think it would just have to be Halloween 4 that counts because you couldn't do it after 5. Jamie gets taken. You couldn't do it after 6 because Jamie's dead. So we assume that this has been going on since Halloween 4, or maybe they just don't address any of that.
It explains that. It does. It doesn't explain that. It says that they in the article that they basically would add to pretend that those didn't exist.
Yeah. So Michael's hunting her when it's not Halloween, which I'm completely against of. Or pardon me, completely against. He just keeps coming. She also mentions that it's been 7 months since the Shape last tried to kill her, which he tries again at the end of the meeting. The other survivors rush to her defense, resulting in a giant melee. Holding the puzzle box, Kirsty dives in front of Jamie to deflect one of Michael's stabs. His blade pierces the box, the force of which fatally embeds into Kirsty's chest. Having been summoned by the I'm losing my spot here, guys. Having been summoned by the stab box, Pinhead and the Cenobites arrive to find Kirsty dying. She uses her last breath to taunt her old adversary. You never got me. Pinhead is furious that Kirsty has died by someone else's hand and vows revenge against her killer. He instructs the Cenobite followers to find out who did this. Her soul belonged to me. I will collect from someone. So basically the gist of the movie is Pinhead is after Michael because Michael killed Kirsty, and Jamie ends up surviving in the end and walks away into the sunset, and we get your Michael versus Pinhead, and it's a little more grounded, if you can say that. It's grounded than the 1998 version, but it again, I liked Jamie Lloyd, but like, just no, and the worst part is that movie right there was really close to being made, unlike the first one. The first one got a little bit, got a couple of meetings. This one was basically almost in development, like to the point where they were getting ready to cast.
Very
Thoughts
scary.
on it?
Very scary. I'm not a fan of this one either. You talking about this one between the first pitch that we just heard? Gun to my head, I would have to choose this one if we're choosing one, but I mean, this is one that I wouldn't be excited about. I would go on the same breath what I said before. I'm not a fan of the Freddy vs. Jason movie, but I'd rather watch that 1,000 times than this pitch. So, yeah, not a fan.
Yeah, I when I thought that it was 7 years, I read it as 7 years. I was more okay with it, but it does seem dumb, like that at the end of this meeting that was going to have a bunch of previous characters. At the end, he's just gonna like jump out behind your chair or something. Like that makes him sound like a dastardly villain from a Saturday morning cartoon from the 80s. Like, he's just like, hiding behind the corner while they have their meeting. Is like, oh, I'll get you. Like, I didn't get you 7 days ago, but I'll get you this time. Like, yeah, I don't know. It seemed really dumb from that standpoint. I do like the stuff that involves the Hellraiser stuff.
I just feel like they're having a really hard time figuring out how they're going to cross, like how these two are going to cross paths. And if it's this difficult, like why? I mean, obviously it sounds good to whoever's, the people that are writing it, but to me, it just sounds like it just doesn't make sense. And so why do it?
The reason they're pursuing this matchup though, is because they're both from Dimension. So it's the easiest, it's the easiest thing for them to say. And then that is why they got, like, these are two pitches that went somewhere.
Yeah.
But apparently
it's the easiest one to get greenlit by them for sure.
But apparently there was a ton of different scripts sent in and different ideas from fans and things like that. Like it's something that other people noticed too. Like, hey, these two are made from the same company. They belong to the same people.
I mean, and I'll be honest with you. I didn't realize it was pushed this hard and this much until these pages that I've read from Taking Shape 2. I mean, obviously I knew that it was out there. This is something that they wanted to get done, but the amounts of scripts and times that it was almost greenlit, I'm shocked by it, honestly.
Something that it wasn't covered here from what I've read so far, though, is that, they keep saying like, well, this, after Freddy versus Jason, they wanted to do this. Freddy versus Jason as a concept existed for a long time, though, because of the claw and the mask and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that was already in people's heads. Like, whether they were going to show it on film or not, those guys fucking tangled. So, you know, like, I think that once that happened, the idea, you know, being pitched of all these movies happened. And even though I wasn't a big horror fan as a kid, because I was fucking scared out of my mind out of horror movies, I do remember rumors about all these things. I remember people saying like, oh, they're going to do Freddy versus Jason and it's coming out next year, like in, you know, 1999 or something like that. And then they're going to do, you know, and then they're going to do Leatherface versus Pinhead. And then they're doing, you know, like I remember people talking about it all the time.
For sure. Absolutely. Me too. Especially the Leatherhead versus Pinhead, or Leatherface versus Pinhead. I heard that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I've heard of a bunch of these things, and I remember friends who were horror fans talking about how they were already going to get made. You know, like
I mean, just think about the stuff that was written and pitched that's not talked about as well. You know what I mean? So,
well, if you look through one of these 2 volumes of books, there's a fucking lot of things. I've been into a little bit from some of the interviews, and we had the writer of the book on the show, and he explained some of the things they talked about. I think we talked about on the show the Halloween 6 different ideas that they had for that movie. And I remember, just all the crazy, wacky ideas and things like that. There's so many things in this book, which makes it seem to be like an amazing read. So,
yeah.
And these are all the things that came to light that they were able to research and get tidbits from. There's probably still a ton of other things that people don't even remember they got pitched.
Let's have some fun, and I'll just read the pitch titles. Again, you can purchase Taking Shape 2 on Amazon and a bunch of other places. It's very affordable and a great read. Although we probably just did a piss poor job on reading that.
Well, I was actually I swear I'm trying to find it now, but I thought they had at one point you could buy the first and second one for like $39. They had a little that'll save you like $5 to $10. I'm trying to find it now, but just look on Amazon, like you said. I mean, sometimes you can catch those deals where you can buy those 2 combinations at a discounted price.
Well, it's amazing because it's a textbook. It looks like a fucking textbook.
It does. It really does.
I don't know if you guys went to college or university, but those fucking textbooks cost a shitload.
Yeah.
I'd rather be reading that stuff.
Anyway, so this is some of what's in. Actually, this is all of what's in here. You have 3 different versions of Halloween 4 that were not made. One includes a Michael Myers that grows to be a giant at an old drive-in movie theater, which was in active development and did not get made, and thank God for that. You have a different version of Halloween 5 called The Killer Inside of Me. You have the now the quite legendary Halloween 666, the origin script by Phil Rosenberg and Scott Spiegel. And then you had another Halloween 666, the origin of Michael Myers. And that one was done by Matthew Patrick. You had Halloween 7, Two Faces of Evil. You had 2 movies in the Halloween, the Hellraiser crossover. You had Halloween 25 years later. You had Halloween Retribution, which I believe was supposed to be the sequel to Resurrection. You have Halloween Haddonfield Asylum, 04, and then you had Halloween Asylum 05. Halloween The Missing Years, Halloween 3D, which is a follow-up to Rob Zombie's movies.
I hope everybody's hearing this. I hope everybody's really listening to how many different
Halloween. These are all these are all things that were in some level of active development or pitches with the company, with communication going back and forth. You had 2 different Halloween 3D movies, which were follow-ups to Rob Zombies. You had Halloween 3.0, also a follow-up to Rob Zombies. You had Platinum Dunes Halloween, which I believe is a remake or a retell of some sort. You had the reboot trilogy. You had Halloween Asylum, again, 2013. And then you had the one that Jay Ryan mentioned earlier, which is everyone's popular. And if you shit on H18, you're probably saying you wished this movie was made, Halloween Returns, which involves Michael Myers in prison. And I believe it involves Deputy Hunt from the second movie, and Michael gets a lethal injection. Obviously, it doesn't kill him. He breaks out, and it's hell for everybody in there. There's a lot of material in there. There's a couple of movies that I think could have been serviceable. But for the most part, it's like you realize why a lot of these weren't made, but it's scary when you read some of them that actually got to the point where they're actively casting for the movie. And it's like, wow, people think some of the ones that were made now shouldn't have been made. Could you imagine if some of those would have been made?
Right.
Like if you can, if you don't mind reading about, shitting on your franchise a little bit, a franchise that you love, and it's not all that, but like, and you want to deep dive in what could have been, it really is a great pickup. I wish there was something like this for Star Wars movies, but Disney's never going to let that happen. So.
Yeah, I mean, I bet half of them are better than Resurrection.
Well, that was my next question. Would you have taken the Michael versus Pinhead in 2002 over Halloween Resurrection? You got to have one or the other.
I wouldn't.
No,
easily.
Oh.
You know why? You know why it's so easy? Because I'm never fucking watching Resurrection again.
Dude,
I
honestly,
will have someone
we're supposed to
describe
watch Resurrection at the campfire watch along, right?
It's just so crazy. It's so crazy though, because like you go through all of the Halloween movies. Goddamn, Kieran's pissed. Kieran, come back, buddy. Come back.
Kieran's response when he heard about Resurrection.
It's crazy though, because if I count how many times I've watched each Halloween movie, man, Resurrection just gets shitted on.
Oh man.
Well, okay, it competes with Halloween 2, Rob Zombie. It competes with that, but
that's it, guys. I'm gonna wrap this plastic wrap around my head, and that's gonna be it.
Sean, why'd you have to crush the man like that?
Well, I mean, it's going to be an interesting night because we're watching Halloween Resurrection. Whenever it happens, we're watching Halloween Resurrection.
So what is it? I'm not.
We're gonna do a watch along, but we're gonna be in front of a campfire when we do it, and we'll be watching along with all the viewers. And it's a 3-movie night. We're tackling the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from 2003,
which I love.
Freddy versus Jason, which is a pretty terrible movie, but there's some laughs. And Halloween Resurrection, which is also a terrible movie. So
can we watch that one last?
Would we agree that we would rather watch, if we had to choose, Freddy versus Jason than Resurrection? Can we agree on that? Sean, come on, man.
I don't know.
I don't think I've watched a movie I like less than Resurrection.
Damn, Kieran.
I was going to say something, but
it's so bad. It's so bad. I don't want to. When did I agree to this? I must not have been listening.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh man.
Oh
wow.
Like on it, my go-to bad movie that I say, like, like this is the worst thing ever, is the movie 8mm. You guys seen that before?
I feel like I've heard.
No.
That
oh man. That's just a fucking sleazy shitbag movie, and then you get the ending. You were just kind of like hanging on the movie for. You're like, well, at least I got to see what happens in the end, and the ending is so fucking bad.
Man, I honestly don't know if I can say that I would rather watch Freddy vs. Jason than Halloween Resurrection.
Wow,
man, it's tough. It's tough, but don't worry, I would both in one night.
Watch.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to be really high. Really high.
Well, I'm glad you're getting tortured too.
Man,
putting together this fucking list, piece of shit.
I'm not letting y'all know. No, I ain't joining that. I ain't joining that. I'll share it.
Tune in, guys, if you want to see a grown man burn his eyeballs out of his fucking skull.
I know you'll see Kieran put his damn head near the campfire itself.
You know what else we discussed today? And that we're going to do, we're not sure when, but we're going to do a watch along of The Dark Knight.
Dude,
so that's going to be fun.
Sean, we have another one we got to do that we discussed about as well. The long one, the long day. The Shining.
Oh, The Shining followed by the Dr. Sleep director's cut.
Yes.
Back to back 6-hour stream.
You talk about me. You talk about me being in heaven Fucking open the clouds, baby, because I'm there.
I don't think
I'd like
Jack
to watch that.
was one.
I'd like to watch that just because I haven't seen either of those movies. So,
Sean, what are you doing to this man? You got that's The Shining is one of the first ones. Come on.
Hey, I tried to offered it the one night and it was turned down. So, yeah,
I actually just watched that the other day. This past weekend.
I wasn't going to throw her under the bus, but you just went.
Yeah, my wife wasn't gonna watch that. So,
$10 super chat in from Mr. Frank Riker. The only thing that could make it believable for me would be if it took place after H6 and Dr. Wynn used the puzzle box to summon Pinhead to help him stop Michael. To help him stop him as in Michael, and Michael becomes a Cenobite at the end. That $10 super chat, I'm not even saying this to bullshit you for the $10, is a better pitch than the two we read on here.
Frank,
yeah, I was gonna say that. That's a better pitch than either of those.
You're the man. You know that? You should write the new Scream film. That's what you should do. That is exactly what you should do.
Oh,
that's better, and also I like 6, so it'll be good for me because I actually like H6.
Oh,
so,
man. Speaking of which, we haven't talked about this, and the people that like Rob Zombie here, all the power to you. I'm just going to say how I feel. I loved the Munsters as a kid. You know, my dad would always put the Munsters on, and you know, you get Herman and all those guys in there, and it's a fun watch. The theme song to the Munsters is great. The idea of Rob Zombie doing the Munsters makes me feel like, what would Rob Zombie do with the Flintstones? Kind of. And it's like, no, give me one of the two pitches we just talked about first. That's how I feel about that.
I mean, if he's doing it in the same vein that he does all of his other movies in, I've seen an interview with him where he talks about how much he loved the Munsters. So I would think that he doesn't want to give it that treatment and maybe do something different, because as much as people don't like his films or maybe his music, if you listen to the guy in an interview, he seems like a really smart guy. I definitely have a lot of respect for him when I hear him talk about things. But yeah, if he gives the Munsters the same House of a Thousand Corpses type treatment, I do not need to see all the family members fucking, talking that way and,
Sean,
doing all that weird shit.
Isn't Halloween 2 a guilty pleasure of yours?
Rob Zombie's second movie is disastrous and probably the worst Halloween movie ever made, but there are so many it's so bad it's funny.
So you'd rather watch that than Freddy vs. Jason?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have no problem saying that. So, even though I guarantee you Freddy vs. Jason is a better put together movie. Something has been brought to my attention though, and I got to be a hater for a second.
Do what you do.
I've never noticed this. I got to put someone on call out. Mike, what the fuck is that on your wall?
What?
Look to Mike's right on the wall at 7 o'clock below the Philadelphia Flyers sign.
This?
That's a fucking Hey Arnold thing on the wall. My God. I hated that show.
You hated the show?
That was a great show.
I want to see if I can turn the camera. So one of my ex-girlfriends actually got this for me, and I couldn't throw it away because it was actually just dope. So after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it was like one of my favorite shows growing up as a kid. So I don't know if you can see it. You can't see it, but it's
yeah.
Arnold is
there too, right?
Yeah, and Gerald is Nick Foles, and he has the Eagles ring, Super Bowl ring on. It's hard to see, but she got that context for me. So no, if you hate the show, you hate the show.
Is Arnold Wentz because nothing ever good happens to him?
Karen, we're not going to talk about that, okay? We're not going to talk about that.
Hey,
the jersey number is 11, but it doesn't say the last name. And my dog's name is Carson, but we're not going to talk about it.
But it's clever though, because nothing good ever happens to Arnold, and even though Wentz was really great that year, he doesn't get the glory of having the Super Bowl.
That's true.
Like he
No,
deserves the ring, but he didn't play in that game. So.
You're right, and I'll never regret taking him number one because I'm like a big conspiracy person, or like I feel like things happen for a reason. So I feel like everything that led up to us getting a Super Bowl, which is probably the only one I'll ever see in my life, which is fine. I only asked the man above for one, and I think that's all he's going to give me. He was, Carson was a part of that in some way or another. So.
I'd settle for a fucking Stanley Cup final appearance for my team, let alone winning. Fuck.
Hey man, look, I got him on my dynasty team, man. Like I'm not a hater.
No, I think he's a good football player, but he has no excuses this year. He's on a loaded football team.
Well, he ain't on my start. He ain't my starter. My starter is this guy.
Yeah.
Sean, speaking of that, Sean, I want you to know that I stayed in St. Pete, but I flew into Tampa, and obviously flying into Tampa, one of the first things that I see is that stadium. So as soon as I saw that, I was thinking like, man, Sean, I thought of you, man. I thought of you. I was like, I know Sean was hype.
More than me. I'm a Brady fan, more than a Bucs fan.
Look.
Oh,
I got a Green Bay jersey on there too.
I see that.
I did have three Buccaneers jerseys.
And Matt Whitfield might, since he's a Green Bay fan. Actually, my high school, one of the fullbacks, his name was William Henderson. He went to my high school. He actually has a couple Super Bowl rings with Brett Favre, but that's just a fun fact as far as that goes.
That's cool.
Quickly though, the real reason why I didn't like Hey Arnold, I mean, I didn't really care for the show. But when I had got the hatred for the show, it was like Dragon Ball Z was on like a bit of a break. They didn't have the new season translated or whatever. And they took Dragon Ball Z off the air to show Hey Arnold for like 4 months. And I was just like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Fuck you, YTV. I was pissed.
Oh, man. You talk about growing up as a kid and you watch that show. Arnold just had like the room that every teenager and kid wanted.
Hey Arnold, a.k.a. Stewie Griffin.
Well,
Stewie grows up to become Arnold in a different dimension. I could see it. They both have the football head.
Kieran, are you wearing a Batman shirt?
Yep.
He is.
Nice. I dig it too.
I got a few Batman shirts.
Nice. Actually, speaking of, I just want to show this off real quick. I actually just got this. It's a Batarang.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Speaking
that's
of
from Forever?
89.
89? That's from 89. Oh, it's one of the ones with the rope on it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Speaking of which, just so people are well aware going forward, we're going to be covering a lot of Batman stuff over the next year or so. So
let's go.
Strap yourselves in. It's going to be at the forefront here. Frank has another pitch for us, by the way.
Wow. I find that highly disrespectful, Frank.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it happened to Raccoon City.
I actually met Nev. I actually met Nev 2 years ago. Actually, at a convention. Super nice.
Awesome, good stuff. By the way, you can check Frank and Darren out at the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. They're on YouTube. And probably all your major podcast outlets as well, but they've been doing YouTube lately, and I noticed those guys are using the Streamlabs thing now too. Darren and I talked a little bit about it the other day, and really like what those guys got going over there. So give their channel a look and give them a subscribe.
Hey Frank,
they're
Frank,
nice.
would you?
They're nice guys. You should invite them in my place to come to the campfire thing.
Karen's trying to get out of it now.
They're so good at their job.
I'm extending an invitation now to Frank Riker. Frank, if you want to, anytime you want to come on my personal podcast and talk about Scream, you're more than welcome. Anytime.
Yeah. I can't see that being a PG podcast.
It's not. So anytime.
We'll do some Q&A here. That's really all we have left here, guys. We'll do some Q&A for about 10 minutes and we'll get out of here. So the floor is yours. If you guys want to talk about Halloween pitches, if you guys want to talk to Batman, Scream, Hey Arnold, whatever you guys have.
Leprechaun.
Oh, by the way,
the Montreal Canadiens making it this far in.
Did you notice that they had to include like part of the Leprechaun cast in that last pitch?
I saw that.
Hilarious as Jamie's walking away in the sunset of like Leprechaun runs out, trips her, and Pogo sticks her to death. And then that's it. That's Jamie Lloyd's new death.
He would be perfect just to show up at the end of any movie and just fucking kill someone and
go. When your baby doesn't go to sleep. Tisk tisk. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Here's a good one. Oh man. Hopefully,
hey, Arnold would just depress the shit out of Myers until he like walked away.
All right, come on now. Let's calm down on Arnold. He had a tough life. All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I loved Hey Arnold, but one of the reasons is because like as a kid, like I actually liked things that were like a little bit more mature than like I like to watch. Like I liked watching the Frasier show when I was like 12. Was one of my favorite shows.
I got
and
you.
Like my friends weren't fans of it because they were like, that's a fucking adult show. And I was like, I don't know. I like it. It's funny. And it teaches me lessons. And Hey Arnold is like that, where like it teaches you lessons about real life. It's not just there to make you laugh. It's a commentary on life in a lot of ways. And Arnold lived in a poor town or in a poor street, and they had to do stuff a little different.
So I have a question for you all.
Yep.
So is there a show out there where you actually learned a lot of life lessons from? There's one for me that particularly sticks out. So I'll ask the question. So I'll start out. Let y'all think. For me, it was Boy Meets World. I feel like I got a lot of advice from Mr. Feeney. A lot of life lessons from that show that really fit with me growing up. So Boy Meets World was a huge show for me growing up. But that's a show that I feel like I got that was funny, but there were life lessons tied into it as well. And I feel like it's not a lot of shows like that these days at all. So I appreciate what was in the past, and I kind of miss it, honestly.
They have shows like that. So like my daughter is 10, and she's like she's pretty mature as well. And she watches a lot of the like Nickelodeon type shows that they have, things like that. Some of them are like that though. Some of them are still pretty good and will tell you, like they teach you about, being a good friend and being a good person and those sorts of things. Like I would have to. Are you done? Wait, do you have more, or is that your one that you got?
I could
go on with the rest of yours.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, that was my main one. I mean, I could throw it might not seem like it, but Fresh Prince, Uncle Phil, I felt like always gave good advice as well. But those will probably be the top two that I feel like were always those orange screen dads. And I have a great dad. I'm not saying that I don't. I'm just saying that I feel like I've always learned they always were hilarious shows, but always tied back into life lessons that made you think a little bit.
Yeah, no, definitely Fresh Prince got you thinking about things. And I mean, like, obviously talking about race relations and things like that, like happened fairly early for that. Like before that was a topic like it is today, it was a topic on that show. So that was really cool. And
I just thought the sitcoms back then were so great, well put together. I mean, I can name off more for sure.
Well, I was gonna say, like, Frasier was a big one for me, like I said, and one of the things I always remember is there's a part where Niles asks Frasier, "Is that ethical?" And nobody will know about it. And he said, that's what ethics is. Ethics is what you do when no one's watching. That's how you know, whether you're being ethical about something or not. Would you do it even if no one would ever catch you? Like, it's for yourself. And I remember, like, I don't know what episode that's from. I don't remember the context. It might have been when they were going to throw a brick through an art museum window because they got ripped off. But I don't know. But that show, and another one that's kind of weird, Home Improvement was a really big one for me.
My brother-in-law actually is a big Home Improvement guy for sure.
It's funny because Tim Allen is kind of controversial now because he's really conservative, and I don't want to get into that, but he's a little bit more controversial than he was at the time.
I mean, as an actor, I think he's great. I mean, one of my favorite
he's
movies
great.
of all time
He's great.
is Santa Claus, the first one. So
he's fucking Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, true. That's a good one.
So he's awesome. But I remember that show as well because Tim Allen always had to eat it and be like, okay, guys, I was fucking wrong. I tried to do this and I tried to do things the manly way, but really I was just being, I was being a dick. He had to apologize to his wife all the time because he was like, I know I said this. And he's like, but now that I think about it, I should have been more sensitive.
What about you, Sean?
Man, I think the one that stands out the most is probably Hockey Night in Canada, and it taught me that dreams never come true. So, yeah.
That's kind of harsh.
Sorry, spiteful Leaf fan here. I think the one that probably stands out the most to me is probably Smallville, and not because of any the Superman or power stuff, but one of the things in that show that drives Lex Luthor to actually become a villain, because he's not a villain at the beginning, is the mistreatment he gets from his own father and Jonathan Kent as well, who, I mean, stand-up dad, always looked out for Clark, but also treated Lex like a complete bag of shit just because of what his last name was, and that helped push Lex to who he became. And, just because, people say, well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's not true. As Supernatural taught us for many years, blood don't end with family. And so Smallville and Supernatural, the reasons why I gravitate to both of those shows is I think there's a lot of family qualities in both of those. So it might not seem like it, but I do believe there is. I'm not paying $400 for a box set though. Fuck that.
That's wild. That's wild. That's a wild ass price, dude.
That's the word, with how big of a following that show had and how passionate it was, and the fact they were always Hall H at Comic-Con, and you included basically no physical extras with a complete series box set of a show that went a decade and a half is kind of insulting. But that's just me. We got some great answers in the chat though. Pumpkin Man Forever came up with Mr. Bean.
Nice.
And Andy Griffith. I loved that show as a kid. I used to always watch that with my dad and my grandpa. So
Andy Griffith is a good
one. Is that another one of those Johnny 1931 classics?
Have you never seen Andy Griffith?
No, I've never seen it. It's in black and white, isn't it?
Some of it, and then some of it's in color.
Yeah,
you never heard that? Dun, 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 dun,
yeah, I know
dun,
the
dun,
whistling.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, well,
but I never fucking went back and watched it.
Oh, it's good. It's hilarious. Don Knotts was a fucking.
My dad was a big fan of Andy Griffith, and I gave it a shot one time. It was pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, you have to be okay with the time, obviously that show was filmed in. But no, yeah, I was looking at some of the comments. We got great answers. I liked Full House as well. I thought that was a good show. We see a lot of Fresh Prince comments. So yeah. A lot of good shows back in the day that I really did enjoy, but I just wanted to get y'all's answer on that. I know, there's answers, or there's different answers that everybody has, and it's good to hear different opinions for sure because everybody enjoys different stuff. So, there's shows in the comments that I've never heard of before, but.
That's awesome, man. That's great.
I can see anything there.
Family memories. So the final thing I want to bring up was a question that was asked earlier. I don't even remember who asked it, and it's too far back for me to highlight. But since we were talking about, oh my God, I've already forgot the name of those movies. Mike, help me out. Fear Street. Since we were talking about Fear Street earlier, we had a question in the comment section. I forget who asked it, but they asked, "What did you like better? Goosebumps," which is R.L. Stine, or Are You Afraid of the Dark?
For me, I would have to. Man, that's tough. I wanted to answer this with so much confidence and conviction, but it's not coming out that way. I would have to go Goosebumps though. Just based off what I've read most, and what I enjoyed most, it would have to be Goosebumps. I'd have to give the nods to Goosebumps, but doesn't mean I didn't enjoy Are You Afraid of the Dark, because I did. But I would have to just give it to Goosebumps. I mean, the amount of books that are out there, and knowing that R.L. Stein wrote, I mean, I don't know. I'll just go Goosebumps. I'll just keep it simple. I'll go Goosebumps.
Kieran?
I just thought I thought that Goosebumps was a little bit more campy.
Exactly.
I thought that some of the episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark seem like they're unfinished stories, and they just leave you with a like think about that like type of thing, you know. But they were more eerie, and I always found them more interesting.
I'm going to go with Are You Afraid of the Dark, just because I've been listening to some audiobooks lately as I'm falling asleep at night that are just dark. You can have them on your TV, but it shows up as dark screen, so all the lights are still off in your house, and I don't sleep well with light. And it's like this guy in this really eerie, like British accent, and his are like that too. Like you'll get like, it seems like the story's like halfway done, and it gets to like a creepy part, and he's like, and we never went back again. And it's like, but what would have happened? And it's like, I kind of dig that. There's not enough of that anymore. Seems like everything always has to have an answer now, and I don't think everything does need to have an answer.
If only Halloween Resurrection ended after like 22 minutes.
Well, it's funny.
Never found out what happened.
It's funny you say that, Sean, that everything doesn't have to have an answer. I think that's what makes, we have a lot of Halloween fans on here. That's what makes that 1978 film so great, is because at the end we didn't really have an answer. Where's Michael? You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the reasons why John Carpenter wanted to keep that as a solo film to begin with, because a lot of people enjoyed that mysterious ending to the film.
Bingo.
Absolutely. Jade mentions obviously Freaky Stories with the cockroach and the maggot. I remember that. I heard a story of a friend of a friend of from a friend of a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Was anybody Disney Channel fans here? Like the old school Disney Channel where they came out with Disney Channel original movies?
No.
Well, wasn't Halloween Town a Disney Channel original movie when it came out?
I mean, I would say probably the two most famous Disney Channel original movies would be Halloween Town and High School Musical that I can remember. I mean, those things, they just blew up for sure, and obviously skyrocketed other people's career in those films. But that's what I grew up on, was Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, and obviously Nick at Night.
I think you just answered that question, babe. Fuck yeah! What movies are you thinking of? Yeah, I think you just answered that one. So
as far as what?
I think she was referring to your family
to
channel.
the Disney, the OG. I think she said that in the middle of your talking about it, but
yeah. I mean, I honestly enjoyed a lot, all of the Disney Channel original movies. So when Disney Plus came out, I was like a kid in a candy store. I thought Disney Plus was the best thing ever, and I still do. Double T. Come on, two blonde twins. Come on, I enjoyed that as a teenage kid. Come on now. Obviously.
Wait, this was on Disney? I thought I saw that on another place.
Maybe you did, Kieran. Maybe you did.
Oh man, DMT. Sorry, I'm late to the party.
Maybe it's a sequel.
Week. Yes, classic Disney Channel. He loved Kim Possible. I remember Kim Possible.
Yeah,
I know of that. Yeah.
Yep.
Halloween Town, in fact, has 3 sequels, not 2. 3.
And a debate that I see every Halloween actually is
3. Maybe there is 2.
What are you choosing, Halloween Town or somebody help me out? Hocus Pocus. Halloween Town or Hocus Pocus? It's a debate I see a lot.
I'd go.
I don't even know what Halloween Town is.
Oh, it's fun. It's a fun kids movie. Like, would you watch it yourself by yourself now? Maybe not, but like, it's a great movie for the kids.
I was gonna say I watch it with my kids. So
when it came out for me, I really enjoyed it. And usually when I watch films, no matter how old I am, if I enjoy them, especially the ones that I watched as a kid, they follow me.
Jade says the main girl from Halloween Town is now on General Hospital.
Interesting. Who hasn't been
out of power, man?
Who hasn't been on General Hospital these days, though? I saw Stephen A. Smith on General Hospital, for crying out loud.
Oh my God. That Russian guy?
Yes. Everybody's been on the General Hospital.
I wouldn't be
surprised if Tommy B shows up on General Hospital one day. I'm just here. He's like, I'm just here to go fuck myself.
He shows up and he's like, I'm Batman or whatever. Oh my God. I don't know what he was thinking the other night.
Oh my God, we need this guy rushed to the hospital. He's got a bunch of stuff stuck on his ass. And he's like, I'm trying to go fuck myself.
I'm with Jade and Sean. I'm going Halloween Town as well.
Halloween Town. Well, you never know what can happen on a Fandom Empire Live, and you won't know what happens next because there is no next. That's the show, everybody. 1 hour, 50 minutes, 36 seconds. Kieran, I believe you got something that should come out Monday. What is that?
I have the second part of my interview with Abed Gaith, who was a staff writer for Rick and Morty. The first one that I had was more about his upcoming comic book, which was kind of like this next one's all about Rick and Morty and all about his work on interdimensional cable. It's fucking hilarious. He has a story that involves Andy Dick in it, the actor, and just fucking makes me laugh every time I hear it. And he's such a funny guy. And this next one, I think, is even better than the first part.
Awesome. Where can everybody find you at, man?
You can find me at the Fandom Empire Den. I post in there. I like to put some of my Rick and Morty content in there now too, just to add in there. But also the Rick and Morty fan show. You can catch me on Twitter at Gogan Kieran, or you can catch me on Instagram, the Rick and Morty fan show. Or you can just fucking type my name into any one of those social things and find me and add me as a friend, because I never have enough. You can never have enough friends.
Shout out to you, Kieran, for adding me on Facebook today, by the way. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. You know what's funny? My wife added you to Facebook before I did.
Oh my God. I didn't even know.
I can see it now. Kieran sees it happen, and all you hear is...
It's okay. Don't worry. Nobody likes anybody from fucking Virginia anyways.
I was cool. I mean, this guy's a pretty attractive guy, but he's also like, it's illegal to go to the States right now, so I'm not too worried.
Nobody, and if you go to the States, you're not, well, unless you're fucking.
I was approaching it from more of
Richmond, Virginia.
I was approaching it of more of she's going to beat you to him before you can get to him way, but all right. It is what it is. Mike, where can everybody find you at, man? You got a podcast going on too.
Yeah, Take One Podcast, new episode coming this Monday. Make sure you could. That's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just type in Take One Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at MichaelBish_ and on Instagram at MBish_.
As Kieran mentioned earlier, the Fandom Empire Den on Facebook. Make sure you're using a legit Facebook profile or you will not be allowed in. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram, Fandom Empire now. And we got some other things coming up, but we can't talk a whole lot about that stuff at the moment. All I'll say is if you like some of the minimal Star Wars content we cover, you'll be able to see more of that stuff on a different channel very soon. We're all holding up hands.
I wanted to say something. Also, if you're kind of an off on with the Rick and Morty fan show, come to the next Rick and Morty fan show, because I'm doing 4 giveaways on that fan show. 4 giveaways, and I might make it 5 just for there's it's season 5, but giving away a lot of shit, having a really big, awesome season premiere fan show. So, 5. I'm having 5. I've decided now. It's 5 times.
Yes,
5 times.
5 times.
There, I did it. There, no, it doesn't count. Okay. Anyway,
I want to see it has to be full blown.
It's going to be bad. Sunday night, you can catch that man right there, top right-hand corner. Kieran Presents, Patreon show. And then who knows? We might do something else this weekend too. Let's just see how the weekend plays out, and you might get an impromptu show of some sort. And if not, then we'll see you Tuesday for Fandom Empire Live, episode 105. This was fun. Again, apologies for how we were reading it. They were reading on a small phone. and I'm in a very dark basement. It might not look dark, but it is dark down here. But I think you got the information. We'll approach it from a different angle the next time we cover one. Anyways, for Mike, for Kieran, for our chat mods. Oh, by the way, he asked me to mention this. Toronto Freddy, you'll notice, was not here tonight. That's because right here in Kieran and I's hometown, which I'm not going to mention what that is, but it's close to Toronto, he is filming like an actual Hollywood TV show.
Okay.
Right, so that's cool. I believe
Mr.
it's called
Big Shot. No,
he big timed us, man. How dare him do that? Let me pull it up here because he said it was okay if I gave it the information. He is. This is the wrong chat. Oh wow. Well, I don't know if he wants me showing that on air. I won't show that. They're pictures, but pictures from on set. I feel privileged. Oh, what's that? Is that the 1978 Michael mask from Halloween Kill? No, I'm kidding. Anyways,
their filming ends in our hometown.
Could you imagine? He's working on a show called Station 11 that apparently deals with a deadly virus.
Nice.
Sounds familiar. Anyways, that's where he is. He's off doing extra work for that. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, you can check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Fandom Empire. We'll see you all next time. Good night, everybody. Take it easy. And say your prayers for Woodsboro. Frank Riker's going to nuke it. Good night.
God damn it, Frank.